Communicating with helicopters. When communicating with helicopters, firefighters must be clear, concise, and brief. Pilots flying over fires must frequently operate the helicopter at slow speeds and low altitudes that provide only a small margin to recover in the event of a loss of power. By communicating effectively and efficiently, firefighters can help to minimize risk exposure for pilots above and personnel below. The aviation pages in your Incident Response Pocket Guide, or IRPG, are a useful reference when communicating with helicopters. Give general location. To orient the pilot to your position, describe your general location on the incident using standard fire anatomy, such as head, heel, or left or right flank. You may also describe nearby fire behavior using terms such as torching, creeping, or running. On established incidents, you may identify your division. Identify any flight hazards. Don't assume that the pilot has prior knowledge of the area. Identify any hazards such as snags, taller trees, antenna towers, power lines, wind turbines, and overhead wires. These hazards may not be visible to the pilot from the air. Finalize location. As the pilot approaches, you will often hear the helicopter before you see it. Be ready to speak to the pilot on the established air-to-ground radio frequency to finalize your location. Use the clock position from the pilot's perspective for horizontal orientation. The front cover of your Incident Response Pocket Guide provides a visual reference for clock position. The nose of the aircraft is at 12 o'clock, the tail at 6 o'clock, the right door at 3 o'clock, and the left door at 9 o'clock. Describe your vertical orientation in relation to the aircraft. High if you are above the aircraft. Even if you are on the same level as the aircraft. Or low if you are below the aircraft. You may describe your position in relation to prominent landmarks, or by the target position on slope, lower third, mid-slope, upper third, or top of ridge. Use signal mirror flashes or strobe lights to visually indicate your location.
Okay, good mirror flash, I have you in sight.
Panels or flagging are also effective visual indicators. You can further orient the pilot by describing locations out of their left door or their right door. Refrain from using cardinal directions.
Directions are really tough because, especially if I'm hanging out the window and I'm turning around, I'm looking for you. I'm not paying very much attention to which direction is south, which direction is west.
Describe target. Provide the pilot with a detailed description of the target based on fire behavior, fuels, landmarks, or terrain. Be creative with your descriptions and prepare to change signaling methods if the pilot cannot make out your location, whether that means long flagging on a tool, a strobe light, or mirror flashes. What the pilot sees from the air may look different than what you see. For example, a fire creeping through brush may not be obvious from the air. In this case, a firefighter could put down a panel and give the instruction to make the drop a rotor length upslope from the panel out of your left door. On a more active fire, you could say, anchor in at the heel and work your way around the left flank where the fire is torching.
Okay, I can't tell where the ridge is, up the ridge from here. What direction is that?
Take it to the north.
To the north, okay. I need a visual on the ground. Where's north?
Along the tree line.
Oh. Would that be parallel to that road?
That's affirmative.
Know the pilot's intentions. You must understand the pilot's intended flight path and drop technique. Clear the drop zone fully to avoid direct flights over ground personnel or equipment before you inform the pilot that the drop zone is clear. Dropped water and rotor wash can break branches, topple trees, and dislodge rocks, logs, and other debris which could roll downhill. Be aware of gravity hazards and clear the drop zone well away from and below the target. A Type 1 helicopter can drop up to 700 gallons or more than 5,800 pounds of water. To be hit by the water itself may be catastrophic. When you tell the pilot the drop zone is clear, they may expect you to be farther away than you are. At points, they will not be able to see you. Get back farther than you think you need to. Give feedback. Give honest and constructive feedback to the pilot about drop accuracy. Tell them if they were on target. If they missed, let them know if the drop was early, late, uphill, downhill, too high, or too low. A good metric to use for adjusting bucket drops is rotor lengths. That drop was early. Start the next one a rotor length later. This will allow the pilot to make adjustments during the next drop. Seek feedback from the pilot on how you might improve your directions. Adjust your communications for clarity and efficiency throughout the operation. Maintain prompt communications with aerial resources. Prioritize and monitor the air-to-ground frequency as appropriate. Be prepared to answer the pilot when they call. Know what you are going to say before transmitting. Be patient with the pilot if they don't immediately respond. They are managing numerous tasks in the air. By utilizing these concepts, firefighters will communicate effectively and efficiently with helicopters and contribute to a safe and successful aviation operation.